No. Oh. Well, either way, I'm Marshall, folks. And in this game, we have Gregors in light blue. Going bots first. Following up with a second. Just enable that on there like that. There we go. Some PJs as well. So Legion from Gregors. Moving round though. In red, MLA, we have Sir Derpykins. I'm getting pings. From Timmy. Vehicles first from Sir Derpykins. Going into a long line of power generators. Going to use the fabricators to build up future factories, it would seem. Moving around next, though, we got Pieman in mint green. Going Legion there with bots first. A couple of fabbers out there. Very strong players are Gregors, Pieman, and Discrape. Moving round one more, we have Discrape himself. In lovely... there we go. Let's plop that there. Like that. There we go. Lovely white MLA. Vehicles first, air second. Interesting decision to go vehicles first rather than bots. Typically, you do tend to see bots first. I did not remember Mount Bounty, Andreas. Oops. I didn't realise we had Bounty enabled. I'm sorry. But anyway. Moving around once more, we have Timmy. The silver who could. Or not. We'll find out. Lots of bot fabs, and of course, in each of these spawns, there's a lot of metal in the immediate vicinity, so rushing to T2, I would imagine, is going to be something that all the players are doing. We can see T2 vehicles queued up there. T2 bots already started from Pieman. Down here, Gregor's just a little bit late. Turn off that now. Here we go. And we are joined by an Uber AI playing as Legion. Most curious. I think for the future ones, I will have to get rid of my second picture. It might be worth doing that. What we'll do, actually, for this second one is watch how the AI plays. That could be interesting, isn't it? And then at least we have a full coverage of the map. But yes, this is a free-for-all tournament, and we're using a Masquerade mod. So all of these players are not aware of who is who. The colours from the lobby have been scrambled. They'll have been hidden to the players, I would imagine. From a player's perspective, it's very different to the caster's perspective. And that means that they can't sort of tunnel vision on someone because they're good. So it completely resets the game, and it makes you react to the game as it happens, rather than perhaps trying to exploit killing off the good players. What happens if AI wins? Well, then you're all rubbish. There's no reason for the AI to win. Pieman there, finishing his T2 bots, getting a Faber out first. Of course, with the Legion, you have the Enforcers, which are pretty strong, but also the Monstrosities. And starting to build those early will end up in the mid-game with quite a potent force on the battlefield there. Discrape going up to T2 vehicles, going to have levelers and shellers. Shellers will be great on this. And I almost think that Vanguard drops could be a thing in this to try and outwit someone. That could be interesting. Down with Gregors. We're just starting the bot factory now. A little bit behind the other players. A little bit behind them. And a little bit of raiding coming in from the AI there with the Lancers and Peacekeepers. Not a huge amount to really worry about there. That'll be nicely defended. Sir Derpykins has just flown through that factory line there. Goodness gracious. And lots of anti-air vehicles in this ratio here. I have a feeling that might be a little overkill. But either way, we have got a force coming out against Timmy at the moment, who does have a few units to defend. He's getting up his T2 at the moment. But this could perhaps take down a couple of mechs, possibly even threaten that fabricator. Ooh, running into the range of the Inferno is not what you want to do, and yet that fabricator will go down here. trying to wiggle around with those docks, but is it really worth the micro time? Just focus all on that T2 vehicles, and then you can get some levelers out, or indeed just move your commander up to Uber Cannon that, and you'll be a-okay. Using some air fabbers over on the far side from Discrape to expand, which is nice, apart from when they get picked off by the AI. He's not going to be super happy about that. We did see some enforcers wandering around with some patriots from Pieman. I think this is really quite a nasty thing to do, because the enforcers are a really strong bot force for Legion, and Patriots are, of course, the mobile anti-air. And so at this early stage of the game, just the Enforcer and the Patriot combo as a small raiding mechanism is going to be really, really strong. Pushing into the AI there to try and make sure that contains him, so he's not going to be threatened too much by the AI there. Let's have a look at this side over here. So Derpykins with another force coming in to raid against Discrape. I both like and dislike this. I feel like these small forces are a little obsolete by the amount of metal in each player's spawn. The T1 raiding is more for just that raiding rather than for base pushes, because he just lost a whole bunch of units there to no gain, giving Discrape also a nice healthy bit of reclaim there if and when he needs it, but it would be much better suited to killing off these sorts of things, the Faber and the expansion there, particularly when there's T2 in your quarry's base. It's not entirely worth sending just a small handful of T1 units just to die now, is it? Excuse me, I haven't had a drink all day. First drink of the day always hits the spot. Pieman coming up with a second T2 bot factory there, so really focusing down on the Enforcer play here. I wonder if we're going to see some orbital from any of the Legion players, because the star cannons, those are pretty powerful things. Dropping units in from the map. Gregor's coming out now, mixing in a couple of Enforcers, gets the trade on that one that was on the sort of satellite there. Not the best, but still quite a sizable force. Pieman, of course, can just leave it be. Doing some raiding on the other side as well. In the picture-in-picture there, we can see that Pieman is doing a little bit of raiding on the north. I feel like the players should probably focus down the AI just to get it off their backs, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of annoying, bit of a nuisance for them. T2 finally almost up from Timmy there with the second factory. Vanguard's coming out, a couple of T2 fabricators there. Needs a bit more power, I find. I feel, rather. Discrape is the #1 seed, so he's the one to watch. Getting up that third T2 vehicle factory on the satellites of his base, the fringes, as it were. That's quite a nice move. I like that, because it will enable him to defend those approaches a bit better, and it decreases the amount of time required to get to them. See, this is the sort of raiding that I mean. Unless you're going all out on a base and know that you can do some damage, just picking off the metal on the outside, keeping your opponent at bay is always the way to go. Force them to react. This is an interesting move here, though, from Sir Derpykins. Lots and lots of boom bots there, trying to go for the snipe on the AI. Fortunately, though, I forgot about the bounty, so sniping the AI isn't going to be super duper high on the priority list there. What's that? Is that an orb weaver? It is! Is that the T2 anti-air bot? Nasty. And that was a nice raid there on Timmy, taking down a whole bunch of mechs, a few factories and some P-gens there. Anonymous Timmy is GGing it out. He knows straight away he's outclassed. I feel like he probably could have stayed in that a lot longer than he did. I think that was perhaps a premature GG, but Timmy's gone. And that's the game for him. It does mean a power vacuum here, though, and those best suited to filling it, Sir Derpykins, Disgrape, and Gregors. Gregors going for, ooh, a comet. I was going to call it a lament, but that was way back before Legion was released. That's the mobile teleport there. Quite a nice idea there. That's something to watch out for, because that's going to transport armies across the map really quite nicely there. The AI now going up to the second T2 factory. Got a little bit of expansion and border clashes down here between Pieman and Gregors and the AI as well. I think I see some... Is that Sheller play from Disgrape? Using that to force Sir Derpykins on the defensive. And Disgrape getting up this massive air force here. And actually having a big air force in a FFA like this is going to be very, very advantageous going into the later part of this game. Especially at the moment, considering it's fully invested in interception, which is suggesting that he's going to be using it for support and defense rather than attack per se at this point. Oh, and that was the boombot snipe on the AI. Nothing to see here, but another power vacuum. Two adjacent ones. Ooh, nice. But yeah, what I was saying about the air is that once you've got the air control with just that interception, you can then all of a sudden massively switch up into bombers and the like. And that can catch an opponent off guard if they're not ready for it. T2 vehicles now from Pieman. We've got the death marks. Those are your sort of long-range sniper tanks. Coming in with the air there. So you see only a couple of bumblebees, but that's all that's needed for defense right now. Plus it gives him mobility on the battlefield so that he can get vision range anywhere he so chooses. This attack here though. So Derpykins is in the right place to be able to surround this, but he's probably going to lose a T2 factory here for his trouble before any of these supporting vehicles and units can really get in. Oh, that shot though from that hero Sheller. That was quite a big win there for it, actually. One Sheller for 3. Can't complain at that. Okay, that's around. It will defend. But the loss of that factory could start to hurt Sir Derpykins. He's got 4 currently, and his eco is fine. I think he's trying to extend to the power vacuum down here, but he's got to watch out. Pieman, though, with the enforcers. That's dangerous. Looks like the comet there picked off before anything happened to it. Oh, hello. Well, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch... Oh, Gregor's GG'd out of it. Without a GG. Oh, all right then. Well, he certainly couldn't defend that, that's for sure. Damn it. He's not happy. So it's Pieman, Disgrape and Sir Derpykins. Let's have a look at the army counts here, because that could be a little telling as well. Mobile units there, Disgrape up there with 218. Pieman not too far behind. We've got to compare the air forces as well here. If you look at the size of that one, and then the size of Disgrape's, wherever it's gone. There. Let's have a look at that. 42. Building in Ares as well, should be noted. 57. So Pieman there has even fewer ground units than Disgrape by the looks of things. The attack on the north though. There you go, you can watch that in there. From the point of view of the enforcer that gets killed conveniently, or not, depending on whether you wanted to watch it or not. A few factories going to be lost here, and a bit of eco damage as well. Not too much, But over time, especially with Sodopikins falling behind on the unit count there, that's not looking too fantastic for him. And Pyman really starting to expand to the west there. More and more T2 factories, more and more eco, and locking down these power vacuums to make sure that Discrape is not expanding to them. Pyman now in second place for metal. Discrape has expanded in the opposite direction and got T2 on all of his expansions. Pyman is just starting to really get to grips with that. Oh, I think Discrape sees senses a greater threat to his west than to his north. I think we need to start seeing some interesting strategies from these players. Like the Titan here, for example. That's a thing that's going to switch up this game a bit for Discrape and really cement things. Picking off, as you can see, like long lines of sight there for that Ares to really pack a punch. But, there we go, back to there. But should be noted that things like Orbital would be interesting to see from an MLA standpoint. Unit cannons possibly, some anti-nukes, some nukes, some unit drops. But either way, got a bit of a fight here between all of these hummingbirds and scythes. We need a few Novas from Pyman. Those would be fantastic right now to gobble up all of this air. And all of these units from Pyman forced into an engagement here against this Ares that's being built. He must have seen it being built and is most definitely worried about it. Yeah, look at that. He sees that something is not right over here. And he wants to finish it off, but he just can't quite get there in time. Did I just hear another Titan get built? An Ares on the other side of the base. Whoa. Okay. Okay, Discrape, calm down. Splashing out that metal. Ah. And that was a mistake from Pyman, misjudging that force, and he's now used up pretty much all of his defenses as Discrape is now able to turn and attack. Even though that Ares isn't going to be finished, as it seems as though it's decaying there. Those fabricators could probably get onto that. That would be quite good. But either way, he's got an Ares coming in from the south with a second force of units there. 35 levelers. A few bits of flak as well to defend in case of any bombers. Either way, there aren't any bombers, so the flak doesn't really matter in terms of the storms there. So the air game is kind of pointless at this stage, really. No one's really investing in anything else, but looking at the unit counts, I think Discrape is certainly at an advantageous position. And there's the reveal of the Ares from the south, picking off huge swathes of units in the middle lane between the bases there. That's going to be a real kicker, as Pyman is now going to struggle to engage this. He's got to attack it. He's got to close the gap, and he's also got to separate his units out as best he can. And he's also got to think about how he can really survive this game, because he's definitely on the losing side here. You don't want to get too close to the Ares. It does a bit of trample damage. And those little turrets there as you come into range to defend it, it's really not great. Pyman here losing pretty much all of his defensive units. Let's go back to the army tab there. 166 only now. And if I click on all of those, 93 of those are scythes, which leaves merely 70 ground. And in this force alone, you know, that's half of that entire defense. Plus you've got the Ares, which, you know, really counts for a bit extra. It's not going to be too long as Pyman is forced to run. We'll watch that tear through the base towards Pieman in picture, because I did see a number of units coming. I think red is the AI. Nope. Nope, you're wrong. Feels bad, man. This could be a little dangerous for Disc Rape here. He's not got a huge amount to defend this. If these guys make a beeline for that commander and manage to find it, they have a chance to kill it here. As Pieman's base, not Pieman, Disc Rape's base is emptied, attacking someone else. And we've got some vanguards at the front as well. Both taken down, though, by shellers all over the base, chipping in what damage they can. And that's really, actually, what's turning this around for the defensive side. A number of factories lost, but that was the entire force for Sir Derpykins. Pieman's down to 50-odd units. Oh, that's not good. Sir Derpykins there. What? What? Sir Derpykins? What? What is this? Sir Derpykins, what are you doing? Sir Derpykins! Oh my word. Well, the commander survived. AIs don't do that. Really, you play like one. Now let's be civil. Let's be civilized. Pieman should really not be attacking the north right now. He should be defending himself because the north is his only shot at surviving Pieman. As far and away as it's going to be, we've got another Manhattan and boombots. Don't use that to defend. No! Don't do it. Can Disc Rape save Sir Derpykins the trouble by killing Pieman in time? There we go. Keep tabs on him there, like that. Whatever he's doing. Up on the north, though, we're losing those factories. The Manhattan isn't entirely sure what it wants to do. Go on, boombots. You can do it. Got some nice catapults to defend against that, so that's quite nice. The commander's heading towards an Ares. What are you doing, Sir Derpykins? You need to scout. Ah! What is this game? What is this game? No. No. I don't approve of connection to server lost if that is what we've just experienced. I don't approve. I don't approve. I don't approve. Excuse me. Oh, looks like we're back, are we? Gosh, something's going on. Boombot explosions and... Oh! Imagine if boombots were like siege onagers in Age of Empires 2 and damaged those around them. That would stop you from clumping up boombots like this for snipes, wouldn't it? Group B crashed. Oh, blimey, what's going on? We've got some gunships coming up from Disc Rape as well, so this... Oh dear. There's the gunships. Oh, what's that? A Manhattan next to your commander? That's not going to end well. Oh, inventive strategies, but ultimately ineffective. Well, getting a Thor. a Thor. Yeah, as if. Is Discrape going to do any sort of BM cheese to end the game, or is he just going to hunt with Ares, take his merry time about it? It'd be nice to see some worms used to snipe this commander, really. You don't see worms used much at all. Either way, it's a matter of watching and waiting. There we go, hunting. Hunting, 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 picking off the fabs, picking off the fabs. Kill off the power generators. That's going to slow down this Thor from being built. And probably prevent it, most certainly. There we go, coming in. Oh! You come across some Shredder anti-air. Well, he knows that something's afoot over here, and he also knows where the commander and the mini base is. Ah. Well, let's... I will finish the Thor. Well, maybe he didn't know that you had a Thor. Maybe he didn't quite see it. Either way, there's not a lot left that you can do. Surrounded by Ares, pushing in from afar, because of course they are. The Thor might finish here, actually, you know. It's the teleport wreckage is saving these fabricators. Or not. Oh dear. No Thor completion for you, my friend. None. GG's. Game! Woo! Here we go. At long last. And it's a 6-player free-for-all. With the Masquerade mod. So none of these players know who any other player is, but they know who they're playing against. They just can't recognise them as colours. Fortunately, as spectators, we can do that. Thank you for the follow. Mother Duck Gaming. Oh, Mother Duck. Hello there. We must catch up at some point. And meet up at some point as well. But in yellow, we've got Discrape, #1 seed, presently. Meanwhile, to his south, Bluetooth, with Legion, already setting up some Theodore artillery for over the ridge. And what is this AI doing? What is this AI doing? What is this AI doing? What is this AI? Meanwhile, over in mint green, we've got Titan getting up an air and bot factory, moving into the water as well. Just the side there, we have Andreas G getting all the reclaim from the tree economy and also moving into the water. The water is going to be the place to contest. Going forward to this game, and there's darn sight fewer metal deposits as well. That's going to be something that needs to be taken into account, because in the last game we had huge, bountiful quantities of metal. Thinking of the different disparities between the... well, and the catfish, that's going to be a thing. Thinking of the disparities between the naval, MLA doesn't have the super agile T2 in comparison to Legion. Legion also has the Aculas. Acula? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. One or the t'other, which are the very, very fast-moving submarines. Thank you for the follow. Was that Frashi? I didn't see. I'll see it on the second monitor as it comes up. There we go. Fragi. Well, yeah, however you pronounce it. But yes, as I was saying, the Aculas, they are fast, agile, kind of throwaway, but they're really good at just running in, targeting down a quick... T2 vessel and running away. MLA is going to need a lot of subs to really support things, and I feel like Stingrays are going to be a factor. Stingrays, also T2 Air could probably do quite well here. AI though. Oh. Yeah, going up to T2 Naval from all Legion players now. Bar Bluetooth, who's a little behind in that regard. Going T2 bots instead. Enforcers, I think, are amphibious. Don't quote me, because it's been quite a while since I've had to deal with them. Someone in chat can probably clarify whether they are or not. I don't think they are for some reason. I have a feeling that's the advantage that Slammers have over them. But, having said that, Necromancers are amphibious. Then you've got the things like the Orb Weaver as well. Not the Orb Weaver, the other one. The artillery stuff. Completely forgotten what these units are called. Going vehicles instead. Oh well. Probably a poor choice, Bluetooth. If you're going to do anything that's not naval, go air heavy. Unless you're planning on dropping stuff into other people's bases. That could be an option here, actually, against Disgrape. He's maintaining scout coverage of the base. He sees that there's not a lot of stuff here. So you can, in theory, get away with plopping a transport down on there. And the Legion has access to the transports in his T1 factory. So that's something for Disgrape to watch out for, but the naval defense there. So while Bluetooth may be able to drive Disgrape off the land, won't probably then kill Disgrape's comm, and that's really what he needs to do to secure the bounty. Naval coming out with the bowheads. Front-mounted cannons there. Coming out with the hammerheads, though. Ramming speed. What is this AI doing? Hello? Oh. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious me. This is an interesting move here by Wombat Nipples. Coming in with the air fabs to build this naval blockade here around these bits of expansion, popping up the ripples as well, injuring the commander as he goes past, doing a fair bit of damage to him actually. If he has some bombers, have a lot of damage going on, and maybe even get a comm kill and claim the bounty. Hammerheads coming out from pretty much every angle here, really. We do have, though, an Epoch for the super long-range shots that are going to be necessary against things like bowheads and hammerheads. Hammerheads are fast, though, and they can close that gap, and that's exactly what they need. We're even getting some Jaegers out, too. Those are the Kaiju equivalent. They will float onto land and chase commanders down if they seek refuge on dry land, which they shouldn't really. I'm not entirely sure I'm convinced as to what Bluetooth's strategy is here. Got a few hover units, but I'm not entirely sure you're going to get the comm kills that you so crave. It's going to be a case of early game building up the navy, trying to outmaneuver your opponents, and maybe think about cunning tactics to try and finish them off. You can build some artillery in your base, unit cannons, nuclear missiles, and orbital, as demonstrated here by Andreas G. Is a Legion player, so star cannons are likely going to be a thing that pops out of this. to watch there, because that's going to put Wombat Nipples in danger, as well as Titan. Especially dropping enforcers straight onto those commanders. That's not exactly going to be a good day at the office. Here we go. A bit of a naval engagement here with the Epoch managing to hit away at that hammerhead way before it could get in range. And now with the offering nature of some of these ships, why these guys don't have a huge amount of range, the Akulas. So they got to really run in, take a couple of pots at the Epoch, which has no torpedo defense, by the way. I don't know why the Akulas aren't going in and taking it out so far. None of these ships have torpedo defense, I don't think. There's only one Akula to support. So as far as I'm concerned, this Epoch should not be standing because of these Akulas should be able to come in and finish it off, but it would seem that that's not happening. Learn to use your units, Wombat Nipples. That would be advised. Covering the line there. Oh dear. Bluetooth's commander's about to get rammed. Oh. There we go. That's interesting. Those ships didn't really do much ramming there. Bluetooth dies to Titan, who claims a little bit of bounty, and bounty on this map is going to be incredibly important because of this lack of metal. What is this AI doing? Why? Ooh. That's quite dangerous for Wombat Nipples to be doing that. Wandering his commander out into the open ocean, but then again, it keeps him alive. And that's what he needs. Titan needs to make sure he moves into Bluetooth's base. Claims that bit of metal for his own. But here is what I predicted. Star cannons from Andreas G. The danger. The real danger. What are they building? Can we see what they're building? Fabricators. Oh! So he's going to send them. Andreas, having knocked out Wombat Nipples, is going to pop a couple of fabricators down here into his base and claim the metal for his own. Very good tactic there from Andreas G. Did I just see that fire? No. Alrighty. Lots of air coming out now from Disc Rape, though, up to T2. Getting a few Kestrels coming out. I have a feeling that Hornets will do really quite well here, especially with the limited mobility that commanders have and the proximity that bases have to one another. As long as you can obtain air superiority, Hornets or even Worms at a push would be fantastic to kill off commanders unsuspectingly, especially given that the game is so Navy heavy. And Navy does have limited options in terms of anti-air. Quite good ones, but limited, and so of course with the MLA, if you send in the Worms or the Hornets with some Angels, should do okay. Popping up the umbrellas there from Disc Rape, having seen that the A star cannon exists. Always good. So the commander's torpedoes are able to shoot Jaegers, apparently. Curious. Is that supposed to happen? Lockheed's coming out now. I wonder when we're going to see some Gustavs. Oh. Well, that's disclaiming the bounty from the AI. Super weak commander, why not? Get that bounty, get that eco, and get building more factories as a result. Up to the strongest eco in the game is Disc now. It also has a power vacuum here. And to his north, I'm not entirely sure if he's fully aware of that power vacuum, but it would be good for him to be aware of it. Epoch's shooting off these ripples from a distance. Good, good, good. Making way. Now this is interesting, using Stokes for torpedo support rather than Aculas. That's an interesting mix to make there from Titan. Ah, airfabs from Andreas expanding up to there instead. Huh. I wonder if the Stokes can kind of help act as cannon fodder for those ripples, which might be why they mixed in. Surprised we haven't seen that star cannon really get used. Then again, Andreas is stalling pretty hard on metal right now. Minus 140 odd. There we go. There go the fabbers. Wait, what? All that for some Stokes? Really? Should you not be focusing on expansion? Maybe he's just trying to make sure that there's nothing there to worry about. What are the next level strats in this game that are happening then? I don't see a huge amount. Some Krakens, though, coming out for disc rate. I wonder how those can really help. If they have the range to shoot across these bits of geography. There's a 2-2 Fabber coming out again. Yeah, he's going to pop that over there now. Titan cautious, as he should be, popping up those tollers. Ah, the mod assigns a faction to the AI at random, that's why I couldn't pick it up. I could have sworn that was supposed to have been building a Fabber. Was it not? What? I don't know. Don't forget that you can always get the transport airship, Andreas, and pop a Fabber over that way if you're having troubles. But here we go with a little bit of an air engagement here. Lockheed's and scythes in both cases. Firebirds for Titan, though Titan now has to defend against Discrape at the same time, who's just blanketed his base. This is unfortunate for Titan. Andreas runs back with his air, sees that this is going on. It's like, yep, I'm out of that. There's no point in me sitting over there. That commander just used a whole bunch of time of those bombing runs to hide under a naval factory. Ooh, Andreas tries to get the comm snipe there, following Discrape's weakening on him. But that's an interesting tactic, hiding the commander under a naval factory when he's trying to be bomber sniped or kestrel sniped. Bring in a couple of Talos as anti-air support. Ah, you don't want to fire those over the Toller. That was a bad idea. But yeah, let the Tollers do their work, or the anti-air, whatever it may be, while your commander kind of draws the target through the naval factory. Here comes Disc though, sees Wombat Nipples, sees he's weakened. Does not decide to pursue. He hasn't got anything really left to do it in the Air Force. He can just do it with his naval force. Wombat Nipples there trying to survive, but will not, unfortunately, in the later stages of this game. What else is Disc doing in his base? Not a huge amount. He's just investing so heavily in air right now. That's what he wants to do. Titan moved into the power vacuums down there, getting all the economic expansion. Andreas G finally back up into the positive, it would seem. Trying to find a way of getting at this commander, but we do have some tsunamis that are going to throw bubbles left, right, and center. The white horses race towards the submarines. The Jaeger falling by the wayside also. And the commander... Titan! Does he know this? Is he aware? Is he aware of what... We actually have a comm duel. No way. So who's going to come in and take the spoils of this war? Who is going to get this? Because one player could theoretically get both of them. Because otherwise the bounties will go to waste. There he goes. Wombat Nipples dies to Titan, who claims that little bit. But now Titan's super low. And all it takes is a little bit of scouting. Just a little bit of scouting. Oh, big air engagement there. No question as to who's got the greater capacity. Discrape flying into the lead. Ha 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 ha. If anyone is struggling with making aircraft puns, I will take you under my wing. Ha 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 ha. There he goes. Or not. I will just have to engine here some more puns for you. I should stop before they start making you sore. Ha 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 ha. Oh dear. I'll stop. Yeah, that many Krakens, I think, will kill off Titan's comm momentarily. It's rather pretty. Wouldn't you have thought? Wherever it's run off to. There it is. So now it's Andreas G versus Discrape. 1.2 eco to Disc. Andreas is behind, although leading in the eco despite that. Thing is, with this air superiority and that naval shipyard, Discrape is quite a formidable force here, and Andreas needs to come up with some cunning plan to really get towards Disgrape's base. Because right here is his problem. This huge force of 104 hummingbirds. Well, I was about to count them, but never mind. There you go, you can see them down there. In the lower left. Anti-nukes coming up from Disc. Tons of air fabs as well, so he's going to be looking to expand as much as he can with those, or indeed just start creeping towards Andreas with artillery and submarine, torpedoes, and anti-air. Quite an effective strategy. Andreas G, though, looking like he's not quite got the next part of this game sorted out. He's trying to claw back into the air game. That seems to be his focus currently. He does have a few fleets going around the place, but I think those are more sort of expeditionary rather than anything else. Just to test the water, so to speak. Ha ha ha. In terms of his naval composition here, we have got lots of epochs. Not epochs, what are those? Mantas. What can mantas do? Looks like they're missile ships. And flak. I think. I think they're flak at any rate. Oh. A nuclear missile from Andreas. Going up not too slowly. I see in chat that apparently Andreas has a Titan queued up, but I don't for the life of me see where it is. He doesn't. He's worked out, though, that the way to deal with this air is to have a lot more anti-air, rather than to try and contest in the air game. And that is explained with these mantas, which I think, as I say, I think, have some anti-air capability. I think. We'll watch closely. Oh, Disc going for a nuke as well. It's a nuke race. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a nuke race. There we go. Commanders in relative proximity to those nukes in each case. Mantas have flak. Thank you for the clarity. They do. No, I wasn't barking. Up the wrong tree. So, Disgrape's nuclear launcher is ready. He now has to build the nuke, whereas Andreas has the eco to really rush up this nuke. But Disc is probably about to see it. Let's have a look at what Disc has scouted of Andreas's base with this maneuver. He sees that expansion exists. He sees that it's not particularly defended. So this might be his next target to keep Andreas at bay while he figures out a way of actually attacking him directly. Ah, yes. There are the bits of queued up Titan. I don't know. I feel like the nuke is the way to go, really. I I don't know whether the Titans are really going to deal with it. Taking out the umbrellas, that's good. Should be noted that Andreas is not in the red, and so he can really afford to use all these star cannons to great effect. So taking out those umbrellas is going to be important, but the nuclear missile is almost ready from Disc Rape. Have we got an anti-nuke from Andreas? We have not got an Iron Dome from Andreas. So this nuke from Disc Rape is going to hurt quite profoundly. It must be said, quite profoundly indeed, whenever it elects to fly. And I think it should be soon. At least I hope it is. Oh, the sim speed. Oh, the sim speed. Never mind. It's not flying yet. Ah. Probably wants to find out where the commander is so that he can follow up his nuke with a bit of a snipe. But actually, he doesn't. He has no ability to do that because he doesn't have any real anti-ground in his air force. Gotta watch that nuke. It's landing there in the base. That's going to be powerful against some power generators there. The T2 power for Disc Rape. And another volley. They've made a beachhead. Will we see fabricators join them here? I feel like this nuke has to be now or never, Disc Rape. I feel like this nuke has to be now or never, Disc Rape. There it is. It's a defensive one. Blimey. Well, keeps him alive to fight another day, but I honestly have a feeling that that would have been better against Andreas, because now the nuke is revealed and Andreas can get up his Iron Dome, and that is exactly what he's doing there for the anti-nukes. I think that was a missed opportunity by Disc to do some real damage to Andreas there. Andreas is really starting to push out in this game, expanding on all fronts. There we go. Let's get that nuke rebuilding for Andreas. We've got an Odin complete. And that's going to wander around, presumably, and take out some expansion. But it's got quite a while to go. The nuke is ready. And you've got to fire it fast, otherwise you're going to miss your opportunity again, Disc. Oh no, there it goes. Got to be mindful of this. Andreas sees what's coming. He sees a nuke is on the way, but I think the anti-nuke is ready. And we will get the anti-nuke firing successfully. Plop. Oh dear. I just want to get a quick screeny of that. That's quite nifty. Here it comes. And that's what I was after. Ah, there we go. What about that? Ah, there we go. Anyway, right, back up into real time. Let's catch up with what's going on. Sorry about that. I get carried away by art sometimes. So the anti-nukes are still there. Andreas' nuke is ready to launch. Disk has another nuke on the launch pad, and he's going for a Zeus as well. Can that make the difference? But we're in a very stalematy situation here, and Andreas has a lot of star cannons. The Odins are moving, closing the gap. And Disk is going to see this Odin soon, and he's going to realise, oh dear, I have got more to deal with than I had anticipated, and there's going to be a second one soon as well. Funny enough, I think Disk needs to really just find a way of trying to get around Andreas right now. Because if we go into the army tab there, we can see the factory counts. 27 factories to Disk. The economy is quite a fair bit lower, but with 27 factories all pumping out on not stalling, Disk by rights should have the advantage here, but somehow he does not. He needs to take back some of the raiding from Andreas, even if using the nuke if necessary. And here we go, a defensive against the ships, as all the star cannons land as well. Kaboom! But there's still a lot of torpedoes wandering around with these Stokes under the water. The GGs are called by Disc Rape. That first nuke he fired, waiting too long for it, was perhaps a costly mistake. He's still in the game though, to be fair, and as I say, he needs to he should, by rights, be, can I suicide? Why not? You're the last two alive. Zeus was taken down though by the air over there. There we go, coming in with the Imperators as well. Andreas finishing things off with the Nuke of Beauty. But an anti-nuke was used. That's quite a pretty picture itself, isn't it? All those star cannons all firing. Wonder if we'll get another volley. I hope so. Yeah. There we go. Under the sea. It is just for you and me under the sea. 'Cause why not? Those Imperators are really quite nasty, aren't they? That commander is not dying. There we go. Down he goes. Yeah. Right. Good game. Well played there. Andreas taking that lead. Space Pearl on the north. Previous game almost won against Neon. Wait, why? I swear we've seen this game before. Why are they doing this again? We've already had this one. Oh no, we haven't, have we? We just had Space Pie Neon in a game. I'm getting confused. It's lit! So yes, space pile on the north, looking very, very flimsy indeed. Not too many units. Can defend a little bit with these enforcers. And oh my goodness, I was trying to go through and introduce the players, but I think I just saw a notification for a Manhattan. Sir Derpykins is at it again. That's going to be entertaining to watch that as it happens. Neon pushing in against Space Pie, wasting no time. Looks like Pie Man, who is pink on the other side of the map on the South Pole, killed off the AI. I don't see many necromancers used anymore. I would have thought with the heavy vehicle play we've had before that necromancers would have been handsome. Oh, we got boombots and a Manhattan. And some Earthshakers against Enforcers. Can they get another stomp? Not quite. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, there is the mistake here that there's Manhattans in the base. Don't have Manhattans in your base. Don't do Manhattans in the base. You mustn't have Manhattans in your base. As if someone finds those Manhattans, think of what might happen. You might have a North Korean case of gigantic earthquake in your country on your hands, and a bunch of people from the international community screaming at you saying, why on earth are you building those? We don't like cheese. Stop it. Three Manhattans now. Hold on. 3 Manhattans. It dawns on me. 3 Manhattans. If he pushes those in simultaneously, he's got to be careful because they could chain. But, oh, here we go. He's not pushing them in simultaneously, but he's going to alert Neon to some very dangerous somethings. Oh, no! It's going to get dangerously close to that commander, you know. Don't push it back! What are you doing? Detonate! Detonate! Yes! Injures the comm. Next. More. Again, say the Teletubbies. Here we go. Oh, but Neon's aware of it now. Sir Derpykins, you gotta be more on the ball than that. Now what Neon could do here is tell these units to cancel attacking and start pushing it back the other way with his own boombots. Or docks even. Oh, Neon needs to start doing that. Oh, if Neon gets his own army of docks, cancels their attack after killing all the boombots, makes them not attack, and then push the Manhattan the other way. Oh, would that not be a sight? Miniman, that's it. I need to remember that. Miniman. Miniman. Looking at Pieman on the south. Lots and lots of T2 factories and the eco to support it. Of course, this is the map with plenty of eco. Oh! Manhattan coming northwards. 2 Manhattans coming northwards. A Dauntless sees it. Space Pie's not going to be happy about this. A premature detonation, methinks. Oh. Well, there should be some scouting. Why are these fireflies not going in? Otherwise he would have seen that the commander's over here. Use your fireflies! Derpykins, stop derping around and use your scouts. Oh my goodness. Oh, what's this? Oh no, Neon! Neon! Watch out, Neon! It's coming to you! Neon! 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 Detonate! Oh, Neon! Oh, Neon! Oh, Neon! Oh. And now the fireflies. Oh, Derpykins. What are you doing? Oh, my word. He knows where the commander is of Space Pie, he's going to make a beeline for it. Oh. Meanwhile, Pie Man is... Oh, dear. Oh, no! That's why you don't have Manhattans in your base! Oh, no! Oh. Well, that was... Oh, that was the end of an era for this free-for-all. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, back to normality. Right, thinking caps on, boys and girls. Laments, not laments, comets. Why am I thinking back to the beta of these things? Is there units ready to come through a teleporter? I'm not entirely sure. That's what Gregors should be wondering about and considering, because Pieman on his south here with scorpions of his own, panzers as well. And this will probably finish Gregors off by the looks of things. Gregors lacking units, although going to try and run to an empty part of the map and restart afresh. Getting sandwiched a little bit. He has to make sure his commander gets there. He's stuck on a factory right now, though. He can't possibly... Or is he going to try for a... What's his comet doing? Is he going to try for a comstat? Ooh, he might. He might, you know. He might. He might. He just might. Activate that teleport now. Get those... Oh, no. You need to support it, my friend. Oh, that would have been an amazing feat had he pulled it off. I think it would have been better had he used that to relocate somewhere else on the planet and get away from this push. As it happens, though... Perhaps a poor decision. No, I'm thinking back to the beta of Legion, Mr. Gecko, not beta of PA overall. Oh dear, well. Space Pie seems to be... Oh! That's where the Manhattan got to, I think. They must have got to around there and eliminated something of Space Pie's, who's just now going to wait to die, really, because there's nothing he can do against Pie Man. He's so far behind. Look at that. 200 units to 70. 800 metal difference. I mean, you know. You know. You know. Necromancers. Come on. Consider. But we've got a Thor to finish the job. So we just got to wait for it to have its pilgrimage to the North Pole from the south. And we shall watch. It's steamy behind. As it wanders through the valley of wreckage, gazing at its predecessor's work, contemplating bliss. That is, until he finds a gap that he cannot traverse, and wishes that there were some combat fabricators with him to reclaim. However, he is not perturbed, and continues. Perhaps a little drunk, failing to walk in a straight line. Never mind. There's already one there. Well then. Oops! I need to be a bit more on the ball, methinks. I didn't even notice it. Second place on this map twice. Well, Space Pie, you need to therefore learn from your mistakes.